In the early decades of the 20th century, across the vast American landscape, a unique educational institution stood as a symbol of community, resilience, and the pursuit of knowledge: the one-room schoolhouse. In an era before sprawling campuses and state-of-the-art facilities, these humble structures played a pivotal role in shaping the educational landscape of rural America. As the 1900s dawned, the United States was dotted with thousands of one-room schoolhouses. At the height of their existence in the early 20th century, it is estimated that there were over 190,000 of these small, wooden structures scattered across the nation. The system was simple yet effective. A single room served as the classroom for students of all ages, guided by a lone teacher who wore many hats, such as educator as well as disciplinarian. The school day followed the rhythm of the agricultural calendar, aligning with planting and harvest seasons to accommodate the needs of the farming families. In this communal setting, education transcended the confines of textbooks. Older students mentored young ones, creating a unique intergenerational dynamic that fostered a sense of responsibility, cooperation, and shared purpose. However, as the winds of change swept across the American educational landscape, the one-room schoolhouse faced challenges. Advances in transportation and the consolidation of schools led to the decline of these small, intimate centers of learning. Throughout all of this change, the Richmond School House still perseveres. Today, this historic structure stands as a testament to the dedication of a community determined to preserve its educational heritage. Through meticulous restoration efforts, the Richmond School House has been brought back to life, its weathered walls now echoing with the laughter and curiosity of a new generation of learners. The restoration not only preserves the physical structure, but also rekindles the spirit of community and learning that once thrived within its walls. Join us on a journey through time and craftsmanship as we explore the rich history of the Richmond School House and witness the transformative power of restoration. This is more than the preservation of bricks and mortar. It's a celebration of the enduring legacy of education in rural America. In the early 1900s, Brighton Township featured 6 one-room schoolhouses scattered throughout the township. One was Armstrong Schoolhouse, located on the farm where the hospital now exists. That school burnt in the early 1900s and was replaced with a frame building, which is now a private residence. Stoke School stood at the entrance of Laura Drive and Tuscaroras Road. Eakin School was located on Sebring Road and has since been demolished. Barclay School was on the present location of Tuska Ridge Service Station. 6 Mile School, which has also been turned into a residence, is located on Pine Grove Road and Doyle Road. Richmond Schoolhouse was opened in 1844. Unlike many schools, Richmond was not named after the property owner, but after the family of the wife of one of the original directors. Richmond School operated for 106 consecutive years, educating countless Brighton Township youth. For 102 years, 8 grades were taught at the school, while only 2 grades were at the school for the last 4 years. We were able to sit down with former student Jack Arith. Listen as he reminisces about his time at the Richmond Schoolhouse.
I went here in the fall of 1944, 5th grade. It's been quite a while since I was in here. From coming in here and looking at the school, looks like it's in the same shape as it was when I went to school.
Richmond School consisted of one large room with a wooden floor and 8 windows. The building was heated with a black, pot-bellied stove that sat in the middle of the schoolhouse. On cold, windy winter days, the best seat was near the stove. All 8 grades were in one room. The smaller students sat on the right, facing the blackboard, and the older students on the left. There was a bench at the front of the room where the younger children were called for reading class.
They would have one grade on my left, and then while these students were getting instructions, The students on my right would be studying or doing whatever they had to do.
The school day started with the teacher standing in the doorway ringing the handbell. At the designated time, students were to be in their assigned seats and ready for opening exercises. The teacher, or one of the students, read from the Bible while the rest of the class sat in silence. Hooks were placed across the wall on one side of the door for coats and hats. Above the hooks, a shelf to which they placed their lunches.
Everybody had to bring their own lunch. They had shelves in the back, and they set their paper bag or their lunchbox there until time to eat.
A bench stood on the floor under the coats and hats. On this was a bucket and dipper for drinking water.
There was a well out alongside the building. We would take and pump the water, and that's what they had for the students for drinking water.
A cupboard located to the left of the door held extra books and supplies. Once opening exercises were completed, it was time for the older students to work on assignments from the previous day while the younger ones recited their lessons, which began with reading. Other subjects taught to the students were arithmetic, spelling, history, geography, penmanship, and some form of memory work was also required each month. 2 15-minute recesses, one mid-morning and the other in the afternoon, were given for a drink and outhouse visits. After lunch, games were played, such as Drop the Handkerchief, Tug of War, Red Rover, I Dare You to Come Over, Simon Says, and Annie Over. When it rained, there were inside games. It was never too cold in the winter to play outside, and if your gloves got wet, the stove dried them in time for you to walk home. Many additional activities were held at the school: Christian endeavor, political meetings, voting, and box and pie socials. There would be a Christmas program and a picnic at the end of the school year. As you can imagine, lighting was poor. The hook hanging in the middle of the ceiling was used to hold a chandelier. Electricity was not available until the 1930s. Therefore, when possible, school-related programs were held during the day. In the rural farm community, families were large, so children had to work on the farm. School began after the harvest season and ended when it was time for spring planting. School calendars began to change as the Industrial Revolution effect began to be felt on the farms. It was a great responsibility for one teacher to instruct 30 or more students in 8 different grade levels. One year, there were even 60 students in the Richmond School House. The teacher's main responsibility was to teach, but she had other duties as well, including firing the pot-bellied stove and keeping the school building clean.
My mother started to teach here in about spring of 45. I used to come down here with her on a Sunday, and we would have to build a fire and sweep the floors and everything. There was no janitorial services. The teacher had to do everything.
Students often helped by sweeping the oiled floors, washing the blackboard, and beating the erasers together outside to remove the chalk.
Between going to a one-room school and then I went to a military academy, this training that I received from my school days and the adjustment to military training was very easy, which today is a lot different.
As the 20th century unfolded, bringing with it waves of societal and technological change, the one-room schoolhouse found itself facing an uncertain future. The winds of progress blew across the American educational landscape, ushering in larger, consolidated schools with improved transportation and a shift towards standardized curricula. The simplicity and intimacy of the one-room schoolhouse system, while cherished by many, became increasingly impractical in the face of evolving educational needs. As consolidation became the norm, small, rural communities saw their beloved one-room schools shuttered, their doors closed for what seemed like the final time. The fate of these cherished institutions varied. Some were repurposed for community gatherings or even storage. Some sold and repurposed as stores or homes, while others succumbed to the passage of time, their weathered structures left to decay. The echoes of laughter and the scribbling of chalk on blackboards faded, replaced by the eerie silence of abandoned buildings. All of the one-room schoolhouses in Brighton Township were closed in 1946, and the Richmond School House property was sold to Daniel P. Wilson and his wife Dolores in 1953 for $850. Like many at the time, their plan was to convert the schoolhouse into a residence. Amidst the fading echoes of one-room schoolhouses, a beacon of hope emerged. In the heart of this tight-knit township, a small group of dedicated individuals undertook a monumental task: the restoration of the Richmond School House. Headed by Ben Wilson, a group of citizens formed a committee to purchase and restore the schoolhouse.
My father, Ben Wilson, was the original person who started the drive, and he was appointed by the supervisors to develop the school into the building it is today. I think the community itself was looking for something to signify the historical value of the township.
After over a decade of private ownership, the Brighton Township supervisors were able to purchase the property back for $442.30 with a plan to restore the property. The Richmond Schoolhouse, once on the brink of being forgotten, was now in the midst of an exciting restoration. Led by a passionate and determined group, the restoration effort breathed new life into the Richmond Schoolhouse. It became a labor of love, a testament to the resilience and commitment of a community unwilling to let the legacy of its educational past vanish. Much of the material for the restoration was donated by members of the Richmond Little Red Schoolhouse group, as well as other locals. The result? A meticulously restored schoolhouse, standing proudly as a symbol of the community's dedication to preserving its history and fostering a sense of shared identity. The creaking floorboards, the sound of chalk against the blackboard, and the wooden desks now tell a story of rebirth and renewal.
If it hadn't been for the tradesmen, volunteers, and the people who contributed, it would have not been saved, because there was talk of it tearing the school down. It was in that bad a shape. It was an eyesore to the community.
In the quiet corners of our community, where the echoes of education once reverberated within the walls of one-room schoolhouses, we discover more than faded memories. We uncover the threads that weave the fabric of our shared past. The story of the Richmond Schoolhouse is a testament to the enduring spirit of communities, where a small group's determination can resurrect not just bricks and mortar, but the very essence of a bygone era. In the heart of Brighton Township, the Richmond Schoolhouse is not merely a restored relic. It is a living testament to the power of collective effort, community pride, and the timeless pursuit of knowledge.